On Christmas Eve in 2005, police respond to the scene of an unthinkable crime in Harmony Township. Someone has bludgeoned and robbed 94-year-old Anna Rocknick in her home. Annie lives long enough to call 911 and tell police who attacked her as she slept. The devil. I'm LeVar McBride, and this is Cold Case, Beaver County.
911, you got three people of interest still say, I do. Three people of interest, then you get that blank face.
Now that's why nobody really knows if she is dead or alive.
He was set free and he was set free to go kill.
We've never gotten that one break. We've never gotten that one break. You know, we will though. When we got there, Annie was very badly beaten, and they had just put her in the ambulance. And I climbed into the ambulance with her, and I started talking to her. I said, Annie, I said, what happened, what happened? You know, and she says, Jack, the devil got me. The devil did this.
The only real description she is able to give is that her attacker was a white man with a hoodie pulled tight around his head. While Annie clings to life, more police begin to respond to a scene that, for many, is too close to home.
So it was tough. It was tough on all of us. You know, I lived this close to her. Bobby Santa, who took the call that night, lives halfway between me and her. Okay, Jimmy Essex, Sergeant Jimmy Essex, he was born and raised 2 houses away.
911, what is your emergency?
This is the type of person, at first he's in there very cautiously, you know, and going through things. He knows she's in there because he doesn't want to wake her up. Then once he went into the bedroom, the first 2 drawers that he opened are set right down on the floor, very neatly, okay? Or they're just pulled out and things aren't thrown out of it. Then the other half of the bedroom, things are just scattered, so you know that's when Annie was awakened.
She sustained several blows to the head. With what type of object we still have not been able to determine. Whether there was a crowbar or possibly a tire iron. And I think every hit, after every time he hit her, he asked her, where's your money? I know you have money. According to her, he said that like 4 or 5 times. Well, she didn't have any money.
You're bleeding? I'm bleeding. Somebody come in the house and they clobbered me. They break my head and I'm all bloody. My brother and my sister.
Annie succumbs to her injuries soon after reaching the hospital. The shock of her death leaves Jack Lively and the other investigators reeling from the loss of a beloved neighbor.
No, there was no thought in my mind. This woman was standing up being treated by paramedics. You know, she's going to die. If I knew, you know, if I even thought it was as bad as what it turned out to be, I wouldn't have left her side.
The guys probably didn't go home and sleep for probably 36, 48 hours. We were just here continuously. And we just started chasing people. You know, the one neighbor said she heard a noise late at night. And then we found another neighbor reported that his truck mirror had been hit. So we started looking at that.
Despite the long hours and long list of leads, the investigation stalls.
We got a lot of suspects, but we eliminated them each one at a time.
Typically a case like this, somebody tells, because even some of our bad people are in the Beaver County Jail. They don't go for beating a 90-plus-year-old woman to death, particularly at Christmas time.
There's a lot of calls we got from drug addicts. You know, I'm a drug addict, but I would never do something like this. I have a grandmother. You know, I would never do something like this. You know, they actually felt bad. You know, and they were trying to help us. We had a lot of people out there trying to help us, but it just, whoever did it's not talking about it. Someday that person's going to talk about it.
Yeah, this wasn't right. You know, this lady lived 90-something years. She should not have been beaten to death in her own home.
The trooper from the state police R&I unit spent 18 hours in that house trying to find some shred of evidence that would tie somebody to this case. We've done a lot of polygraphs on this case. We've done some DNA comparisons on this case. Nothing has come concrete.
You know, so it was just different things. You know, we were finding all kinds of stuff, but we didn't find that one major clue.
We've never been able to, there wasn't any jewelry that was stolen that anybody could identify. We cannot give you something that specifically was stolen. We very recently talked to the lab about sending in some additional evidence that we didn't have a whole lot of hope for initially, but we're kind of, hate to say it, but sort of scraping bottom on what evidence we can submit or what we can do.
Without evidence linking a suspect to the crime, investigators develop a number of theories based on Annie's brief description of the attacker and what evidence they glean from the crime scene.
One thing that, you know, I kept harping about, it had to be a crack addict. You know, if you've dealt with drugs, a crack addict is violent. Okay, he needs that hit. He needs it bad, and he'll do anything for it.
We've kind of narrowed it down to a handful of suspects. The guys who have been involved in this investigation from the beginning each have their own favorite suspect. We all sort of point to that guy and why he could be the guy. But because there are more than one, we can't focus in on anybody. We keep tabs on these guys. One's easy to keep tab on. He's in jail for a similar kind of crime where the lady didn't die. Another one has moved out of state, but we do keep tabs on these guys.
You got 3 people of interest still, say, I do. 3 people of interest, then you got that blank face. You know, that blank one that says, you know, there's always a possibility it's somebody that nobody's brought up yet. This one here, we've never gotten that one break. We've never gotten that one break, you know. We will, though.